Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every week we get together to talk about movies, TV, and online content. Help you answer the question, do you reckon Tom Cruise would actually want King Charles to be his wingman? I don't think so. I'm host Ashley Hobley. Join me today, Dylan Blight.
Yeah, very weird. I actually thought it was a fake story, but there you go.
No, yeah. A bunch of people paid a lot of money to say nice things about Royal. Weird.
Weird indeed.
Did you watch anything of the coronation? Or you just nah, it's all done.
I saw a Twitter clip. The Grim Reaper was running around in the background. Does that count?
I don't think so.
Otherwise, no, I don't understand why anyone would watch that. I also don't care about the Royals.
Yes.
I find it very weird anytime I see on the news people being like, I've been camped out here for 20 years and they... Because that was the only thing I saw. I saw something on the news where there was like, obviously, there was interviewing people or whatever, and they're like, and we just think they're such down to earth people and stuff like that. We just came all the way from Adelaide to Australia to see them. I'm like, people think I'm a loser for buying Pokemon cards. You know what I mean? Like, like no.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Admittedly, it was the only thing on at the time because every single network, I think, was airing the same footage. Although I read apparently the ABC's footage coverage super anti-royal, which would have been amusing to watch. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on the coronation. I guess how's it rate to the other coronations you've seen? Alright, on today's episode of What Do You Want to Watch, we're talking about what's in our watch history, covering some film news, giving some thumbs with some trailers, and letting you know this week's top 3. Kick things off with a few things we've talked about elsewhere. The big release of the week, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We've got a spoiler cast up on all new Marvel cast. Of course, the final entry of James Gunn's trilogy, featuring the Guardians of the Galaxy, the breakout Marvel stars, in which they're up against the High Revolutionary. Is it a spoiler to say exactly what the kickoff point of the film is?
As in what? Like what happens?
What's the driving force for them going out on their adventure?
No, I feel like the trailer. The way I would explain it is like, at least based on the trailers, I think it was very obvious that the High Evolutionary is the person who like created Rocket. I feel like that was evident from the trailer. How they get entwined and all that sort of stuff. I feel it's like when and how he comes back into the lives of the Guardians and.
No, I was more saying that. Is that a spoiler?
I would say yes.
Cool. I would edit that bit out
because the one shot of him almost, in the trailer, you don't know if that's at the end of the movie or like what the trailer never implies. The trailer makes it look like he's in it the entire time. Yeah.
So yeah. Dylan, so what are your thoughts? Non-spoilery thoughts after that spoiler that I dropped.
Non-spoiler thoughts. Very good movie. Wraps up the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy well. Heartfelt sort of. Finishes off the majority of the character stories. I say majority because my only real major negative is that outside I could get and be like, some of the just too digital effecty at times for me. But anyway, my major things is that the newly introduced characters or main introduced new character does feel weird to like introduce when you're wrapping up everyone else's story. You know what I mean? It's just like everyone else is coming to the end, and like it seems like it's the end of the chapter, the end of this Guardian story and stuff, and they're like, hey, here's a new character. So that's odd, but otherwise, coming to learn more about Rocket's past, something that's been hinted about through all of these other movies and the Avengers films and what have you, makes for a very strong anti-animal abuse story. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been the interesting thing to come out of. It's like that a lot of people are turned off by the movie because of that, and that's understandable.
I mean, I said in our spoilers discussion that a lot of that stuff is very dark to watch. Not that that's, and again, I'll say it again, not saying it as a negative, but just as a comment, it is, some of those scenes are dark.
Yeah. I really love the film. It's a fantastic conclusion to the trilogy. Really enjoyable, very much a fantastic. It's, I think, pretty. I would say it's the best post-Endgame film we've had in the MCU so far. But that I think we all suspected it would be because it's James Gunn coming back to his characters that he created and loved and built. Yeah, just really enjoyable, really heartfelt story. It's interesting that like articles are going around. I've seen like people saying, "Oh, they should have." I can't believe this movie's. They put all this animal cruelty stuff in the film. This is a movie where little kids are going. The movie's PG-13. Learn your ratings, Americans.
Yeah, I saw someone tweet
But
something the other
also,
day about
kids should be taught this kind of stuff. It's very important to emotionally scar them with stuff like this.
Yeah, I saw someone tweet something the other day about how parents have just become so used to ignoring ratings that they're sort of redundant. People start complaining about, oh, this movie's too dark for my child. And it's like, well, that's the rating does tell you that. Yes, that is what the rating says. And then they're being like, yeah, but it's Marvel. So, like, it's more that parents just view is it animated? My kid can watch it. Is it superheroes? My kid can watch it. Less so than what the reason the rating system was invented in the first place, to actually let the parents judge the poster by the book by its cover to decide if they can watch it. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure a bunch of kids went to see Deadpool and stuff like that.
Oh, they did. I remember reading stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know if I talked about it here, but when I went to see John Wick, Chapter 4. It was like a family with like a bunch of 7-year-olds in the audience.
Yep, I had a family, which again I don't care if.
And also they played the Evil Dead Rise trailer before, which I thought was hilarious.
I was like, I had a family of mine too with kids that looked honestly about 5 or 6. Your family, your choice, but I only start getting annoyed when these people start complaining.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't like, like that's the part that annoys me. If you want to take your fucking 2-year-old kid to Evil Dead Rise, I don't give a fuck. But
also, PETA, the animal advocacy organization,
came out. Quill, but yeah,
no,
PETA. Yeah.
They came out in support of the movie. Called it their film of the year.
Wow. Okay.
So I mean, that says a lot.
They're real film critics. So
yeah, they're very critical of movies.
Yeah.
I guess the other talking point out of Guardians of the Galaxy, other than it being really good, getting very high ratings. It made $114 million at the domestic box office in America. According to current estimates, it isn't 100% confirmed. But that would rank it lowest amongst all the Disney's Marvel releases during the summer since 2013. Is it a case of Marvel fatigue, or is it a case of people still not 100% comfortable going to the movie theaters? Why do you think this movie maybe didn't meet expectations financially?
Because the last bunch of Marvel movies have been pretty mediocre or bad. I think it's that. I think we've had a bunch of other movies that people were happy to go watch, Avatar and Top Gun and whatever else. When movies are good, people are happy to go watch them. But yeah, I don't think the COVID affects cinemas thing. I'm sure it does a little bit, but I think the majority of people are back in cinemas that want to go cinemas, at least based on the numbers.
Yeah.
When they're good movies. Movie viewing is generally down because of COVID, because people are also doing that whole like, fuck cinemas. Like why can't I just watch it at home? Those people. So I'm sure there was an element of those couple of years affecting the way people view the cinema as a place to go and support the industry and watch their movies. So, but overall, I'd say the reason Guardians is down is because the majority of Marvel movies that have come out for the last couple of years have sucked. Like, sucked or been average at best.
Yes. All right. Like I said, you can go listen to our spoiler cast over on All New Marvel Cast. Where we talk about pretty much everything in the movie. It's pretty great. It's pretty good discussion. A lot of fun. We also had Star Wars Visions Volume 2. Or Season 2. I can't remember what it technically classified. The series of Star Wars inspired short films done by a variety of different animation studios around the world. The first season was done primarily by Japanese animation studios. This one was a little bit more internationally flavored with a lot of differing art styles and animation techniques. Yeah, Dylan, what did you think of Season 2 of Star Wars Visions?
Yeah, so I put a review up. I think I gave it 8.5.
Yes, that sounds right.
Sounds right. Really enjoyed it. I definitely feel like it's stronger than the first season by having a variety of influences rather than the just Japan-based animation studios. Because Star Wars Vision Season 1 is definitely Star Wars, but anime. And obviously it's like, well, yes, Dylan, because anime is because Japanese animation is anime. I know that, but I'm just saying it has that feeling of it's just Star Wars, but we've made it anime as fuck, which means that there's a lot of lightsaber fights and intense, like typical anime Japanese animation stuff, which is
Jedi
fine.
versus Sith.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff, which is fun. And I enjoyed the first season, and a lot of those stories were what it was. Obviously, the standout one was the samurai, the first episode of what it was. Yeah, the Ronin one. But yeah, season 2 having a lot more variety amongst both the animation styles, from stop motion to more CGI looking, to even the last episode where there's like very furry looking creatures and stuff like. There's a lot more happening here. And then also the stories themselves, the type of characters, they do a lot of swerves and different directions on stories that you're like, oh, I probably know where this is going, and then it doesn't go in the direction you think it is at all. So not relying on major voice actors to sell the stories either, I guess, like big names or anything like that. I do appreciate that. Just telling solid stories. And yeah, I think it's just very, very good. And, you know, as I said in my review, it just showcases how much better Star Wars is when we go and explore different directions outside of what white Hollywood America wants from Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the season. A lot of fantastic shorts, even though there are a couple of annoying kid characters. That would be my only major gripe throughout it. Lots of different fun tones. Like there's the Aardman short, which is just a straight up comedy, pretty much.
Loved it.
Which was totally different to the first season. I don't think there were a couple of like kid friendly ones, but there was nothing.
But there was nothing that was like
nothing
straight up
comedic.
like. Yeah, for people who don't know, Aardman, Wallace and Gromit. So it's literally just Wallace and Gromit, but Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, just really interesting project, and like, you know, exciting ideas, like just amazing what you can do if you don't have to worry about the canon of of Star Wars. Yeah, this is one of the most exciting Star Wars projects currently being done. Yeah, because it's just fresh and everything is new, and even if you don't particularly like a certain short, it's quite short, so you can just move on to the next one.
15 minutes average, 20 minutes, a couple of them, but
yeah, so fun little bite-sized bits of Star Wars, you know, that will, you know, and beautifully animated. Like, I don't think there's a terribly animated short amongst the bunch. Yeah, just a really interesting project. So yeah, we talked about it in depth over on Holocron Entries, even ranking all of them. So check it out over there. And then Dylan, you watched Brandon Cronenberg's latest film, Infinity Pool, releasing in cinemas this Thursday. Finally.
Yeah, finally. Came out in America about 10 years ago. Brandon Cronenberg's next film is now coming to Australian cinemas. So Infinity Pool is, I don't really know how to describe it, so let's read the official synopsis. James and Em Foster are enjoying an all-inclusive beach vacation in the fictional island of La Tolka when a fatal accident exposes the resort's perverse subculture of hedonistic tourism, reckless violence, and surreal horrors. So the story basically goes that you've got Alexander Skarsgård playing the main character, James. He's on holiday with M, played by Cleopatra Coleman. They're at this very obviously fiction. It's a fictional country, a fictional island or whatever, but very obviously inspired by, all these tourism locations that people go to, where they go to Thailand and people wrecks the beach. Like I point out, like I looked up the name of that beach that I remember reading about a couple of years ago that they shut down or whatever because tourism just wrecked it in Thailand. And weirdly, if you look at my Trakt history, and I don't know if you're going to bring it up later, my thoughts on this movie, and again, I don't know if the main point, but this is a good thing about good art, right? Let me go deep on this. I don't know if the main takeaway from this movie is supposed to be around tourism. It's definitely part of the conversation, but that was a big part of my takeaway to the point that I went on my Google searches, I suddenly like Google's like, hey, you're Googling tourism like for this place. Here's this documentary that just came out about like tourism places we fucked up. Do you want to watch that? And I was like, yes. So if you look at my Trakt history and I watched a documentary about fucked up tourism and how we ruin it, that was related back to this film. But so they sneak out one night because it's all like a gated in community where they're like this beach, beautiful place, but then of course on the outside, you've got run down sort of third world country vibes, but they're, everyone I'm sure is taking their rich Instagram pictures in here and all this sort of shit. And then they go out because they meet Mia Goth's character, and she is Mia Goth is the fucking standout from this movie for multiple reasons. She's just like eating the scenes in the later half of the movie fantastically. But yeah, so they meet her, what's the character name? Gabby, and her partner Alban, who's played by Jahil Laspart. Yes. They like sneak out of the border of this gated community to go to a different beach. And then they're all having a great time. They get drunk or whatever. And then when they're driving home, they hit this farmer and then they run back to the hotel and like try and hide it. Cops come in the morning, but then when they get arrested, the cops are like, hey, how about you pay us, we clone you, and you will kill the clone. And that's the punishment. So you like, because the punishment for this crime that you've done is like, we'll kill you, like it's capital murder sort of thing. But because they're rich, it's like it's the ultimate form of like privilege, power, using like we can afford to get out of jail. Not only can I afford to get out of jail, I can afford to get out of having to be killed because I can just pay to have a clone of me made. So then after this, as his partner M is rightfully freaking the fuck out and wanting to go home, Alexander Skarsgård's character is like sort of dives into this world with Mia Goth's character and a bunch of other characters that are introduced of just absolutely living in the most just disgusting way of no care about anything they do. They're just I don't know, it's hard to talk about going into spoiler stuff, but they just like have no care in the world. They just think they're the most powerful person because if they get arrested for anything, they can do whatever they want. They just pay to get out. Doesn't matter. So there's no repercussions for them at all. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 9. It's not going to be for everyone. It is definitely fucked up at times. It has a lot of disgusting imagery that might not even in like a violent way. There's also like some sexual imagery that may be too much for some people, especially since the version that got released into Australia is the unrated version, which has a couple scenes. I looked up the difference between, and there's like one scene early in the movie that's, I won't spoil, but it's just straight up maybe too much for some people. But that was like some key difference between this and the other version. But as a huge, like, I really like Alexander Skarsgård and a lot of his movie choices over the last couple of years. And he's really good in this. But it's definitely Mia Goth who's the standout, and she's definitely on one of my favorite actress pools at the moment, just between X and Pearl last year and then this. And obviously I point out, she's been a role since Suspiria, of sort of just becoming a indie horror girl darling. So really, really good. So yeah, definitely not an Ash film, but I 100% shockingly not an Ash film. But yeah, I really, really liked it. And it's definitely one of my favorite films of the year so far. So, and if it came to my cinema, which it won't, I would happily go watch it again on the big screen. But yeah, rip.
No, it looks like it's purely indie cinemas.
Yeah.
So if you've got one near you, go check out Infinity Pool or read Dylan's review on explosionnetwork.com. So Dylan, on your list, you've got a film called The Last Tourist
Yeah.
that you watched for some reason.
Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, this popped up, the Google doing the thing where it's popped up for some reason. I don't know. Smart AIs are always listening. We're never alone anyway. Came out in 22 or 21? 21. Came out in 21. So this documentary covers, the interesting about this is they started making it prior to COVID. So then like they had to do that whole thing where like towards the end of the movie, COVID happens and they have like a message pop up on the screen. They sort of then talk about how COVID affects tourism and stuff like that. But yeah, it talks about how tourism was once a thing of only for the super rich, but then as it became more accessible, more people started doing it. But basically we are ruining all these places. Like there's no way around it. Like they cover all these beautiful, amazing locations that people go to, but then also people are either going to them and just like going to these beaches and just like dumping all their rubbish, and what have you, or they're going to these places and it just shows the crowds of people at these mass tourist locations, and everyone's on their phone taking selfies, or people lining up to just take the photo. It's like, is anyone there to actually, like, are they enjoying it, or are they just lining up to get the photo and then they just hop on a plane, they go to the next location? Like, you're just tourism is just for photos. Like, it dives into that angle too. And another part they talk about is how a lot of these capitalism majorly affects like the way in which tourism is even done, because a lot of tourism is done via these boat tours at the moment, and they cover how people go on these boat tours where what the fuck's the official name for those, the boat tour things, when you go cruise, yes, cruise. People go on these cruise, I forgot what it's called. People go on these cruises and they'll get dropped off at these little locations, and they'll spend a day there or night there or what have you, and then they'll go on the boat back to the next location, etc., etc. But these boats, like, they're like, oh, I'm on a big tour, and some of them are fucking go-kart rallies and whatever else. It's crazy. And then they get dropped off, and they'll have a list of, like, they'll show sheets where it's like, oh, only shop at these places, because the other places, the locals will rip you off. And then they're talking to the people there who are, they're like, oh, tourism really helps these cities, these countries, what have you. And then they're interviewing the people who actually make local, be it t-shirts, clothing, whatever items, restaurants and stuff like that, and they're like, we get nothing. Like, we don't get a kickback from the government because they've made some deal with this American company that's getting all the money. We don't get a kickback because no one shops at our shops because they're told not to shop by us. They're only told to go to these other particular shops, which are either all run and owned or secretly run and owned by like American or first world countries. And like, it's just it's nightmare fuel is what this is. If you want to watch something that makes you feel terrible about tourism, here you go, watch this. But yeah, you'll have no positive message about tourism coming out of it. Good documentary though.
Great to hear when a large portion of a country relies on tourism to survive. But yeah, check out that documentary.
I mean, it's definitely, they don't talk about like, hey, it's the focus is on the third world country, the ones we're ruining, not the, hey,
not
it's not like America's going to well, no, it is a little bit of like Americans going to other countries, like
it's all these trans
kind of
Bali, right? That's
all that sort of stuff, and it's fucking or whatever else. But yes, it's not like people coming to Australia where and they're like ruining our beaches. Like, it's mostly focused on the other places where people need the money, and we're told we're like injecting money into these places or helping them out, but it's all just white guilt bullshit.
Cool. All right, so we both watched the first 2 episodes of the new Apple TV series Silo, in which some sort of event has happened on the planet Earth, and a bunch of people have been living in a silo Community for several generations, starring Rebecca Ferguson and David Oyelowo. Yeah, I've enjoyed the first 2 episodes so far. They're definitely introductory episodes. But they do a really good job of like setting up like kind of the world that they're living in, like setting up the idea of like there's like 120 levels apparently in the silo, and there's a mayor, and then there's like a structure, and then there's a whole kind of like law around how the world works, I guess, how the silo runs, and then they've got this camera that is looking outside of the silo, and it's it's directly they've got screens throughout the entire silo so they can see what's happening outside.
Just one camera
on the camera. And then if people don't want to be in the silo anymore, they could just say, "I want out of the silo," and then they get forced to go outside. And then one request is to clean the camera. But then there's this whole weird mystery around what the origins of the silo were. Why do people get sent outside to clean? Why is no one outside the silo? And there's apparently a massive like civil war like 120 years ago that destroyed all remnants of what happened prior to the silo and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I've enjoyed it so far, but yeah, very introductory, these first 2 episodes. Dylan, what do you think of the first 2 episodes of Silo?
Yeah, I watched them both back to back last night and I loved it. I'm fucking super in. This is I'm all about this type of shit. This is the sort of show I can dive straight into. And the only disappointing thing I have about it is episode 2 finished and I was like, yeah. And they were like, coming this Friday. I was like, fuck. So
it's like, fuck, why did I get in now?
No, I'm happy to support the show because we know they need all these places, they need you to watch it weekly, not fucking wait to binge it. So, but yes, having 2 episodes drop out at the gate makes perfect sense considering the way the first 2 episodes are set up. Because the first one is all focused on what the fuck's that actress's name?
Rashida Jones.
Rashida Jones is like the main character in that first episode because she's the wife of Oyelowo's Sheriff Holston character, and she sort of has this huge awakening that leads her to like want to go out. And I don't think that's a spoiler because that's like pretty much shown within the first 10 seconds, and then they flash back. So, then at the end of that episode, they introduce the actual main character of the show, who's Rebecca Ferguson's character, but you don't get to see. You spend the entirety of episode 2, and I presume for the next 9 episodes or 8 episodes, whatever it is, with her. Also, it's very funny that I remember watching a trailer for this now, like also starring Ian Glenn, who's from Game of Thrones, and I was like, I haven't seen this motherfucker once, so I expect he's going to show up next week. I was the guy there, but
it's like freaking Commons in this movie. He's like,
Commons in it for like 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Who else? Tim Robbins is one of the main characters apparently, based on the poster and everything, and he's in it. He has like 5 seconds in the first episode. So yeah, it's sort of a, it's not really 2 episodes. It's like a epilogue and a prologue. I don't know. It's a prologue to a prologue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, there's a lot happening here. I don't. Like you sort of seem to be talking about like it's a little bit too much sort of setup, but I don't feel like they drag anything out. Like it's in fact, I would say that the amount they're willing to give in those first 2 episodes, I really appreciate, and not trying to do, because the differing factor I feel like between this and other similar shows is that straight away, at least I'm taking it to be the truth. Straight away, the question of is the silo bullshit and is the world bad out there is at least 50% answered. Like straight away in that first episode. There's still a red herring question of what's happening out. There's still questions, but the main question I feel like most shows years ago would have spent an entire season waiting to answer. They're like, no, there's that. All right. So you're like, I feel that's what's helping me at least feel fresh and excited about this is there. I mean, even episode 2, the way episode 2 ends with Rebecca Ferguson's character, even that, I was like, any other show years ago, they would have spent fucking half a season waiting for her to decide to do what she does at the end of that episode to go down to where she's looking currently. Yes, I really enjoy also everyone that's in this in particular. I'm a big fan of Rebecca Ferguson, obviously from the Mission Impossible movies and stuff like that, but she's definitely got that like kick-ass character. I mean, it's a bit different in June and whatever else, but yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
or fucking Doctor Sleep, even where she plays a fucking evil wizard. But but yes, she's definitely got. Do you not know that's what she plays? She plays a back. She's got that like kick-ass sort of strong female character vibe happening in this that I think she does quite well in different things, and that's really good. Rashida Jones is really good in the first episode as well. There's also really enjoyed for the small amount we get him that I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who plays George, I feel like did a good job, and maybe we'll get more of him in flashbacks and stuff like that. The show's like jumping around, like
it is very timey-wimey, jumping all over the place. Lots of bold choices in these first couple episodes, especially most of the shows. The character death that happens in the second episode would not happen till like near the finale.
Yeah. I definitely don't feel like they're dragging anything out, which makes me excited for how it's like the pacing. There's a lot happening here, but I'm already like I can wrap my head around it because
there's questions answered
pretty much straight away.
So hopefully, they do that consistently, and then there's just other questions raised from those answers.
I know the core thing, which is there's a silo. It was built. We don't know how long ago. However, we do know 140 years ago there was a civil war where they destroyed the artifact, the old materials,
all records.
Then there's these now they're illegal to have older stuff from the before time, which they refer to as artifacts. Like I've only watched it last night, and I've already got like in my head. I understand like the general lore.
Crazy. Check out Silo on Apple TV Plus. While we're on Apple TV Plus, you've been watching Frog and Toad on Apple TV Plus.
I had to give it a look. It's a kids show, like a young kids show. I, as someone who enjoyed Frog and Toad, the books when I was a kid and stuff, I had to give this a look. So I don't know if I'll watch more. Maybe I'll flick it on in the background because I enjoyed it for what it was like. And it is definitely the animation style is fun, very vibrant, colors and everything like that. It's perfect for kids. That's obviously the audience, like 5 under sort of audience, young kids. But yeah, the episodes go in the realm of things such as I think it's the first episode that Toad cooks a bunch of cookies and then brings them over the frog, and then the plot is literally they keep eating them and can't stop because they're so good, these cookies. So then they decide they have to figure out how to hide the cookies so they can't eat them, and they keep walking past Bird outside who's like, hey, I'll eat them, and they're like nah, like we're just trying to find a way to hide them, and they're like dig them in a hole and they'll wrap them up, and then every time they do that, then Toad will be like, yeah, but like what if we decide to dig them out of the hole and unwrap them? And then Frog's like, yeah, that's actually a good point. What if we do decide to do that? So let's find somewhere else to hide them. The story is pretty fun. They're all 15-minute, I think, like episodes, the way they're split up. So definitely a young kids thing, but fun little shorts. I appreciate Apple TV has this wide range still, where they put out these high quality young kid shows, like all ages shows, through to other stuff we're talking about like Silo and whatever else. So
okay, it's interesting. I thought this was like a Wind in the Willows type of TV series, but apparently it's not.
No, it's not Wind in the Willows. No, that's a different thing.
That's a different thing with toads.
Yep,
crazy. All right, I watched the first episode of White House Plumbers, the new series starring Justin Theroux and Woody Harrelson, following the Watergate kind of scandal.
It wasn't a kind of scandal; it was a scandal.
It was a scandal. Sorry, didn't need that prefixure. In which Woody Harrelson and Justin Theroux play spies who get recruited to help with the President Nixon's presidential campaign to get reelected, and they perform a major part in the Watergate scandal. Definitely an interesting series.
Is it one episode or 2
one episode out so far?
Yeah.
I didn't really love it. It's fine.
Wow.
It just feels like it's trying way too hard to be comedic. The film that comes to mind is Don't Look Up. it's like that kind of like trying to be funny, like every single scene, and like it's very ridiculous characters doing very ridiculous things, very over the top stuff.
Which characters annoy you the most?
I mean, kind of everybody.
I was gonna say, that Justin Theroux's character. If you look up Wolf Video, that's how he was.
That's how it was.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, I mean, there is an extended sequence in which Justin Theroux's character has Woody Harrelson and his wife, played by Lena Headey, over for dinner.
This is the
and
the scene in the trailer with the match or whatever.
No.
Okay.
They have him over for dinner, and he's like, "Hey, I want to show you something really cool." And then he starts playing a record with a speech by Hitler, at a very loud volume for a very extended period of time. It's like, what the fuck is up with this character? Yeah, it seems like they're just setting it up for like a bunch of bungling idiots doing a bunch of bungling a bunch of different things. So yeah, I don't know. I might give it another episode to see if it
interesting, because
changes tone. But yeah,
I haven't checked this out yet, but I've been very keen. So
yeah, it's just not clicking for me. So White House Plumber is currently playing on binge. And then Dylan, you watched a documentary called Living with Chucky.
Yeah, so this is about covers the Chucky films, the history, but also it's called Living with Chucky because it's I can't remember his name. Let me try and find it quickly if I can. Living with Chucky. It's the film's being made by the daughter of the main like current puppeteer that's worked on the majority of these movies behind Chucky. So it's this whole thing of the movies done in a way of, I think it's Tony Gardner, maybe. Yeah, that's it, Tony Gardner, and it's directed by Kira Eloise Gardner. So she's the daughter. So the movie sort of covers how there's this family sort of bond between all the people that've been making these movies. You know, like Brad Dourif, who's the voice of Chucky, his daughter Fiona has like grew up on a set kind of, or hearing about Chucky, and then she's now in the films, and she was added in and like I can't remember the fifth one or whatever, and she's now in those. And then you've got then you've got the puppeteer, you've got Tony Gardner, and then you've got his daughter who grew up around then, hearing about Chucky, and now she's making the thing. Like it's like sort of done from this family affair part of way, while as adding in and giving a little bit of history behind the Chucky movies as well. I felt like it was a solid, fun documentary. It definitely doesn't go deep on anything in particular. It's definitely for people who, if you already enjoy Chucky as a franchise and enjoy a lot of the movies anyway, you're going to get a kick out of watching this and just hearing people talk, you know, primarily very positively about every single film in the franchise, and everyone involved with it. It's just like a celebration of Chucky and the team behind it. And horror in part, also just horror as a genre, and how a lot of horror film franchises become these sort of family affairs, especially a lot of the bigger ones as people work on them and stuff like that. It does touch on, I wish it had gone a bit bigger in it, but it does also touch on how like Chucky has this odd unknown sort of fandom, or like tie-in, like was one of the earliest sort of weird horror movies that introduced like LGBTQ elements with characters and stuff like that, which isn't like a known thing because the creator is a gay man himself. But that would have been a little bit interesting to go deeper on, or but yeah, overall I'd say it's worth checking out if you're a fan of Chucky and the films.
All right. That's everything I watched this year. Let's move into some film news. And really, there's not a lot, because there's a writer's strike going on and a lot of stuff is being shut down. Yeah. Have you seen the coverage of the first week of the writer's strike? Because it's been a bit mixed.
Like as in the reaction?
Or stories being written and that kind of stuff.
I feel like the majority of the stories, at least I'm seeing pop up from places I read, are phased in a positive way. I haven't seen anyone really be like, fucking... Like, I look in the comments and I see people complaining. you see stories come up about how Blade's been delayed and Stranger
Yeah.
Things delayed and all this sort of stuff that anyone with their brain screwed on was expecting, because as soon as we knew the writer's strike was happening, yes. But people commenting like, "Oh, these fucking whingy writers," and that's whatever. They're just the comment sections. But most of the outlets I follow, people I follow, have been on the positive side. That I definitely, and I was saying the other day to someone, I think it was my dad I was talking to about, but I was saying like, as someone who remembers the last writer's strike, and was like reading film magazines and whatever else, even at that point, I do feel like the coverage and general response from most either people within the industry or writing about the industry has been more in line with wanting what's best for the writers this time compared to last time, which was a lot more negative.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen mostly positive stuff. There's just been the occasional story, like I'm sure you saw the sign going around. Obviously bunch of hilarious signs at the strikes.
Yeah.
Lots. But I saw a lot of negative headlines with the one saying that they were mocking Jenna Ortega, with the one that says
they were quite funny.
Without writers, there's nothing for Jenna Ortega to punch up.
Yeah.
Which is a term meaning to make better or improve on. And stuff like that. And obviously all the headlines like Blade delayed and that kind of stuff, I feel like can be misconstrued into being negative towards writers and that kind of stuff. But I think mostly it's been very successful. Like a lot of productions have had to shut down, like even ones that they were planning to try and work through the writer's strike. Like I think Severance.
Severance shut down this morning.
Yeah. Like I don't think they planned to, but like everybody kind of went on board and shut down. But yeah, I guess we'll see how things progress. The big breaking news, I feel like this morning, is studios have moved to suspend TV overall deals amid the WGA strike. The writer strike is now impacting overall deals just days into the work stoppage. Major TV studios have started sending out letters to writer producers under overall and first look agreements telling them that their deals are being suspended. Reading from Deadline, no one will comment, but I hear Warner Brothers Television, Universal Studio Group, CBS, and Sydney's Television's 20th Century and ABC Signature among those that have sent notifications, with Sony Pictures Television relaying the message in conversations with the representatives or informal emails. HBO's notifications apparently have gone out, with David Simon, the writer of The Wire, and what was the
one I liked?
The Baltimore one you liked?
Yeah, whatever that was called. I can't remember actually now. But...
Yeah. He revealed on Twitter that he got the call about his deal being suspended after 25 years of writing television for them, as he is spending another day on the WGA picket lines. There's been speculation that, the writers, the producers may want the strike to continue for an extended period of time, so that they could enforce like a force majeure clause on a lot of these overall deal contracts, thus rendering them null and void. But yeah, seeing this first kind of movements from the studios to like kind of cut off a lot of money to these deals is kind of interesting, or like not a very good sign.
I don't know. I feel like it's hard to talk about because I don't fully understand the I haven't. It's not like we can speak to. Have you? It's like none of us have spoke to writers. We don't know like anyone. To be like what is it that is like fully. What would be the worst case scenario acceptance? What would be the best? You know what I mean? Like that sort of.
What's the bare minimum?
Yeah. What's the bare minimum? Like that's the part that I don't know, and I wouldn't want to guess. Yeah, I guess. I wouldn't want to guess. That's how I feel about it. But I hope they get everything they want.
Yeah.
I saw Christopher Nolan and Jonathan Nolan were out today. I saw a picture of them on Twitter this morning.
Well, the other thing is that a lot of the other unions deals are about to come up as well. So it might not just be the writers on strike very soon.
The weirdest reaction I'm saying is people like freaking out, like it's going to be the end of the world. When to me, I think this is all fantastic because I'm like all these people picketing for things I can fully understand, and I hope they get it all. But I'm also like, if all these shows get delayed, holy fuck, do I have so much stuff I'd like to catch up on?
Yeah.
You know, like people who are freaking out, like there'll be nothing to watch. I'm like, are you insane?
Have you watched? Have you watched literally everything?
Yeah, like the amount of stuff the fear of like running out of stuff to watch is insanity to me. The fear that we'll get stuff like Quantum of Solace and whatever else, I don't think that's a thing. That I think I would presume, at least as far as I've seen, none of these major. Everyone's stopping now. Any major movie, TV show, they're stopping that. Most of them aren't pushing through without anyone involved. The only one I've seen that is who was it? Lord of the Rings? Was that?
Yeah, they're continuing production.
They're continuing production. Yeah.
Game of Thrones. Oh, House of the Dragon. That's
House of
continuing
Dragon,
production.
yeah.
And then Andor is also continuing production. But a lot of their scripts were very, very, especially even in the first season, like very locked down.
Yeah, and they get weird because they're filming in
Britain. But also they're filming overseas, so you know it's different because they can't pick it directly in front of them.
Yeah,
that's the major difference.
So yeah,
but yeah, lots of projects been delayed. Of course, like you said, Stranger Things, Severance, a lot of projects like in early pre-production. But even shows like Abbott and Yellow Jackets, their next seasons, their writers' rooms have already said they've been delayed. So
yeah,
when they'll be back, who knows?
Yeah, a lot of these shows I love, and I hope the people that make the things I love get what they want.
Get what they want.
There's the normal reaction to have to these stories.
Yep. On a more positive note, the MTV Movie and TV Awards were held over the weekend. Interestingly, they decided not to do it live and did pre-recorded because of the writer's strike. Drew Barrymore was set to host, but she pulled out in solidarity. I don't think there was even a red carpet or anything from what I heard. But yeah, the big winner of the night, Scream 6, Best Movie. Beating out Avatar: The Way of Water, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Nope, Smile, and Top Gun: Maverick. Is that surprising to you that Scream 6, Best Movie of the last 12 months, according to MTV Movie Award fans?
No. What's surprising is that you keep bringing up the MTV Movie Awards when I tell you every year that I don't give any fucks about the MTV Movie Awards. It's a popularity contest. It's not a real thing. Scream 6 is a good movie, but it's not as good as two others on that list. It's just a voting popularity thing for young kids. You might as well be telling me who's winning K-Zone Movie of the Year. Do they make that magazine still? K-Zone?
Yes.
Yep.
I don't think they have a movie awards.
Well, if they did, we'll cover it, wouldn't we?
Yeah. It's a quiet week. But yeah, Scream 6. Congrats, I guess.
Yeah, big end of the night.
Other big winners. Tom Cruise winning Best Performance in a Movie for Top Gun: Maverick. Jenna Ortega winning for Best Performance in a Show. Adam Sandler for Murder Mystery 2 winning Best Comedic Performance. Pedro Pascal for winning Best Hero for The Last of Us. So people having a little bit of backlash. We'll blow back to that. Because is he a hero? I mean, to a lot of Americans, he probably is. Jennifer Coolidge won for Best Most Frightened Performance for The White Lotus and gave a speech in solidarity to writers. Best Fight went to Gal Weathers versus Ghostface in Scream 6 over John Wick versus everybody.
Nope.
So maybe you're right. Maybe this is a popularity contest. All right. And Jennifer Coolidge received the Comedic Genius Award. So congrats.
You got one right.
That's true. Best Show went to The Last of Us as well. So
Pedro Pascal accepted the awards and said, shout out, they can't be here, writer strike, go team.
Yeah.
As far as I saw, yeah.
So yeah. Let's move into giving some thumbs to the trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers we're about to talk about in the show notes below. We'll kick things off with a trailer that dropped just before we started recording. Meg 2, The Trench, directed by Ben Wheatley, starring Jason Statham, Wu Jing, Sienna Guillory, Cliff Curtis, Skylar Samuels, Paige Kennedy, Shuya Sophia Kai, and Sergio Perez Mencheta. Dive into the uncharted waters with Jason Statham and global action icon Wu Jing as they lead a daring research team on an exploratory dive into the deepest depths of the ocean. Their voyage spirals into chaos when a malevolent mining operation threatens their mission and forces them into a high-stakes battle for survival. Pitted against the colossal Megs and relentless environmental plunders, our heroes must outrun, outsmart, and outswim their merciless predators in a pulse-pounding race against time. Dylan, we heard there was a trailer coming for the Meg 2 involving dinosaurs and megalodons. Did this trailer live up to your expectations?
Yeah, I'm going to double thumbs up on this one. I really like the trailer. It's fun vibes. It made me go, did I like the first one or did I think it was okay? I can't actually remember. I don't remember. Like, obviously, I don't think it was great, but did I like it or did like I can't remember how I feel about the first movie. So, I know, might have to rewatch it, I guess. But this looks really fun. It looks to not be fully serious. It also, when the trailer started and they had a lot of them going underwater to the trench, and I was like, "Fuck, the whole movie better not be down here. This is going to be terrible." And then when they showed so much sharks just eating people at the beach, I was like, yeah, this is what we want, baby. Jason Statham riding a wave to like plunge a shark in the face. Yeah. This movie just feels like it has at least based on the trailer, maybe it's just the way it's edited, but at least feels like it's got a lighter, funner vibe, knowing it's a bit stupid, which I appreciate. So I'll go double thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll give double thumbs up as well. I think they've realized what this movie is and what this franchise should be.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous sharks doing ridiculous things. You know, the woman tapping on the glass saying, "Oh, this is megalodon proof."
Gets eaten straight
we're all
away.
safe, and then the shark just comes straight through the window.
Could be.
Dummy. This trailer has Jason Statham riding a jet ski on a massive wave.
Yep.
Which
with
physically,
a harpoon.
With a harpoon,
Yep.
which physically should not be possible, I don't think.
He also has a part where like a shark comes up on a little buoy or whatever, like the end of a dock or whatever, and he manages to stop it by putting his foot out.
No, my favorite shot was there's a couple in like one of those paddle boats.
Yeah, and they start like going fast. Yeah.
Just going fast, and they just get eaten whole. Hilarious. Yeah. Finally, a good shark movie. I'm right. In a while. Yeah. So Meg 2 coming to cinemas on the 3rd of August. Looking forward to that. Next trailer, Deadlock, created by Kate McCartney and Kate McLennan, starring Kate Box, Madeline Semi, Nina Oyama, Tom Ballard, Alicia Gardner, Susie Yusuf. The Tasmanian town of Deadlock, a once sleepy seaside hamlet, is left reeling when a local man turns up dead on the beach. 2 female detectives are thrown together to solve the case. Local senior sergeant Dulcie Collins and a rough as guts blow-in from Darwin senior investigator Eddie Redcliffe, along with their overeager junior constable Abby, as the town prepares to launch the annual Arts, Food and Culture Festival, Winter Feastival. The trio must put their differences aside and work together to find the killer. Dylan, what do you think of this TV series set in Tasmania?
I don't know where this came from. What the fuck? I could play on this trailer and I didn't know what it was, and then I was like, "What is this?" I'm gonna drop a thumbs up. Very weird trailer. I'm all about it. Obviously, it's got a particular set of humor that I guess you have to be down for. But yeah, I'm going double thumbs up. I'll support the Dead Body Tassie show.
Yeah, that's what Tasmania needs, more dead bodies, am I right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I'll give this 2 thumbs up as well. I haven't watched a lot of the Kate McCartney, Kate McLennan stuff, like the Get Crackin' or the catering show on the ABC and stuff, but they're very popular and they've done a lot of good work. This looks like a lot of fun, and like Tom Ballard being in it's really cool. Yeah, really good, fun murder mystery, I guess. Making fun of like you know, I guess it's kind of like what's the David Tennant Murder Mystery.
The one that had a few seasons.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
With Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah.
That one.
It wasn't
That's
Jodie
kind of-
Whittaker. It was. Oh no, she was in it too. But I was
She
gonna
was
say, the other main character was
Olivia Colman.
Olivia Colman. Yeah.
Broadbeach. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I think.
Yeah, that is
Broad,
it.
No, Broadchurch.
Broadchurch.
That's it. That's it.
Broadchurch. And then they did an American remake of David Tennant as well, called Broadchurch.
Yes. So yeah, this is coming to Amazon Prime. Another Australian series coming to.
Yeah, Amazon really supporting.
No, so it's coming to Prime Video on June 2nd.
Yeah.
Next trailer, Chasing Amy, directed by Sav Rogers, starring Kevin Smith, Guinevere Turner, Joey Lauren Adams, Scott Mosier, Sav Rogers, Andrew Arn, Kevin Wilmot, Trish Bendix, Princess Weeks, Regina Riley Rogers. 12-year-old Sav Rogers watched the film Chasing Amy, and his life was forever changed, developing a kinship and maybe a slight obsession with it as he grew into his queerness. He decides to fund and direct a documentary that examines its role in LGBTQ plus film culture. He makes significant progress, even garnering the support and collaboration of its director, Kevin Smith. However, as the production of the documentary continues, Rogers realizes that the legacy of the film and his relationship with it might be changing. So where does that leave him? Dylan, you're a big Kevin Smith fan. What do you think of this documentary called Chasing Amy?
Yeah, I think this looks really good. This is really interesting. When we did our podcast, Radio Movies, and we discussed Chasing Amy, there was a discussion around like, okay, how is the representation in this film treated now? And I was of the side of like, I don't think if this released now, this would be considered good representation. I think I can appreciate that at the time it was trying to be progressive. I guess that there was good intentions, but yeah, I feel like I think this is going to be really interesting. I'm definitely down to watch this.
Yeah, this looks really good. I think it's going to raise a lot of interesting questions, and I think especially, I don't know, I think if you made the movie like this now, it wouldn't be so surprising because, sexuality is very fluid for a lot of people and that kind of stuff. And we understand the LGBTQ community is like more discussed and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And obviously they make a bunch of jokes about like the whole Ben Affleck of it all. It's like, and obviously it's being made by like a big fan of the film. So, yeah, I'm keen to check this out whenever it comes to Australia. It is set to debut at the Tribeca Film Festival, running from June 8th to June 15th. So there is no current Australian release date.
It'll randomly drop on like digital one day or something.
On
like
something,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
Next trailer is for The Clearing, created by Elsie McCready and Matt Cameron, starring Teresa Palmer, Miranda Otto, Guy Pearce, and Julia Savage. A woman is forced to confront the nightmares of her past in order to stop a secret cult intent on gathering children to fulfill its master plan. Dylan, what do you think of this Australian TV series?
This is also set in Tassie.
Is it? Tasmania, nothing but dead bodies and cults.
Oh no, I felt it looked like it was set in Tassie. I think it looks good. I'm gonna go one up, one down the trailer just because I feel like I was just weirdly edited and there's just I don't know. There's something off about it to me a little bit, but I'm keen to watch it. I really like the cast. There's a bunch of people in this I really like, including when I looked it up afterwards. Shout out to this guy I keep mentioning that is in fucking everything I swear I watch at the moment. That Harry Greenwood dude who shows up right at the end of the class at 07 and is in Bump. And that Can't Effects movie, and now he's in this. This motherfucker is everywhere. I swear to God. Claudia Cavan's in this. Cavan, who is of course from Bump. Kate Mulvaney, Miranda Otto, Guy Pearce, Teresa Palmer, of course, Julia Savage. Like the fucking cast is banger of cast, stacked cast. I think so. Matt O'Kine's in this. There's your other radio host. So you got the split there. Yeah, I'll go one up, one down for the trailer itself, but very keen to watch the actual series.
Yeah, I'll go one up, one down as well. I mean, it's there's some striking visuals with the very blonde children, but this trailer doesn't really give much of anything. It's like very kind of feels very generic, I guess. Like there's this woman, she's got issues. There's these children. It's like, how's it all connected? Or like even in a hint, you get to see Hugo Weaving look menacing, kind of in a second. You get to see Miranda Otto look menacing for a minute. But yeah, there's very little context.
Xavier
clues or anything.
Samuel's in this? I missed that. I was just looking at the cast.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it could be promising. But yeah, this trailer didn't do a lot for me. So yeah, this series is coming to Disney Plus on the 24th of May. It's not far away. Final trailer for this week. It's the big one. Dune Part 2. Directed by Denis Villeneuve, starring Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista, Stephen McKinley Henderson, Stellan Skarsgård, Charlotte Rampling, Javier Bardem, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Christopher Walken, and Lea Seydoux. Paul Atreides reunites with Channing and the Freeman while seeking revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family. Facing a choice between the love of his life and the fate of the universe, he must prevent a terrible future only he can foresee. Dylan, what do you think of the Dune Part 2 trailer?
Double thumbs up. Give it to me now. Inject that shit straight into my veins.
Cool. I also give it 2 thumbs up.
This is just it's just a well put together. The way that builds up to the worm riding part.
Yep.
I get to see Florence Pugh in here looking great. You got Austin Butler looking horrible. You got Rebecca Ferguson.
Unrecognizable.
Yeah, really unrecognizable. I got fucking Rebecca Ferguson with face tattoos now. Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet look like they actually like their chemistry is a little bit different here, which means that they're good actors.
Well, they're
actually in love now. Their chemistry in the first movie, she was like, I fucking hate you, so we'll get to see that build up.
Well, in the first movie it was all dreams.
Yeah.
Except for the last second.
Yeah, now we'll actually get to see the dreams. The shot at the end where he's like gathering up the whole the army to fight back. The shot where he just does that, where he's about to fight Austin Butler with the fucking knife thing on his head and whatever else. That's really cool. But yeah, I mean, obviously, first movie.
There's a whole black and white section.
Yeah. Fucking, it's a wild. This looks great. I can't wait. This is cinema, baby.
Yeah, cinema's back. Yeah, it's crazy. That it looked fantastic. It's only been 2 years since the first one came out.
He went to, hold on. There was a massive delay with the first one, was the thing. And we had this discussion.
But they hadn't confirmed the second movie until after the first one came out.
Yeah, but I remember discussing that when we finally watched Dune, that we were like, I bet you we'll feel great because we'll have the wait time will feel less, because they, right when the first one was coming out, they're like, we're doing the second one. And I was like, man, if they start production pretty fast, it means that we'll have a very short wait time compared to everyone else. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, can't complain. It looks fantastic. Everybody looks, Austin Butler, like weird, creepy, unrecognizable white.
Yeah, Austin Butler. So that character's
dude.
The son of Dave Bautista. I think that's how that
is. Who's the son of Stellan Skarsgård's bathtub dude. Yeah. Yeah. So definitely one of the most anticipated movies of the year. Dune Part 2 coming 2nd of November. All right, let's move into this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And in honor of the coronation, we're doing top 3 movie
That's
kings.
the connection, right?
That is the connection.
Yeah, okay.
You know, 3 kings who may or may not be better than the current king.
Because when I saw this, I was like, why the fuck are we doing kings? Is it because of Dune? But okay.
Yes. World events, Dylan. World events.
Okay.
Dylan, what's your number 3?
Number 3, Jared Butler as King Leonidas in 300. This is Sparta, bitch.
I don't know if he had the bitch, but
no, that was if Aaron Paul played him. But yeah, one of the most memorable leaders, kings of anyone. I mean, that movie, everyone in high school, at least as far as I remember, was obsessed with 300, and that's still one standout scenes. I haven't watched a movie in years to know if it still holds up, to be completely honest. But yeah, this is Sparta, one of the greatest lines ever muttered by any king ever.
Yeah. Really good movie, kind of co-opted by the right wing from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So,
Sucks.
as you would expect. Yeah. My number 3, King Ralph from the movie King Ralph.
Fuck's King
It's a film
Ralph?
in which... So this is a movie where John Goodman plays a lounge singer in Las Vegas, and then the whole royal family gets killed in an electrical accident. And it turns out he is he's the next in line through lineage. So he's brought to England and made the king. It's a fun, silly film, but John Goodman's John Goodman in it, so really enjoyable. And the big thing is, spoilers for the movie, he abdicates the throne at the end of the film. He's like, being king, not a great idea. Dylan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is James Earl Jones as Mufasa in The Lion King.
Dylan, my number 2 is James Earl Jones as Mufasa in The Lion King.
One of the most memorable animated films of all time, obviously. One of the most heartbreaking moments you could ever watch as a kid. Seeing him die. I don't know, like, what else is it? I don't know how much it's just one of the most memorable
He's
roles.
able to keep entire animal species, like all the animals, coexisting, even though
that's how good of a king he is.
Yeah. If one of your people have to eat other people to survive, and you're still all living together reasonably peacefully, that's pretty impressive. Dylan, what's your number 1 king in films?
My number 1 king from the films is Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings.
Dylan, my number 1 is Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings films.
Oh, there you go. We had one different.
What a great list.
Yeah, I mean, Aragorn's Aragorn.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to say. The dude opens the door in slow motion better than no one else.
It's true. We all love a reluctant king. You know, we don't want a king who desperately wants to be king.
Yeah, like this motherfucker who just got crowned.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic. Even though we don't get to actually see him be king, or kingly,
you do.
I guess.
You don't get to see him crowned, but you get to see him king at the end of the movie. But also, you get to see him make the choice to accept his birthright or what have you, as king, and finally lead the battle, sort of have thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
Fuck, I forgot about the segment again. God damn it. I was on a roll. What is that? Yeah, I mean, I would love to watch Infinity Pool in the cinema if I could. That would be my actual pick for movie of the week. Otherwise, I'm gonna say my real pick would be Hysteria, the Bone Woman's finally coming out on Shudder? Yeah, Shudder. So this is a movie that has been talked about a lot. I know in like horror blogs and stuff I follow is like a really good one from this year. So I've been waiting for this to come out to watch. I can't remember what country it's from, to be completely honest, but looking forward to watch that. And then my TV show pick is going to be let's go City of Fire. That starts out, the one we talked about like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. The trailer.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah. All right. My movie pick is the kids film on Disney Plus, Crater. I don't know if you watched the trailer for this, but it's a bunch of kids who are living on the moon and decide to go for a joyride and explore the moon. Sure. Why not? It looks fun.
Is this a spin-off of Ad Astra? Or?
No.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of. It could be set in the same universe, but then my TV pick coming out day of release, The Muppets Mayhem. Give me the Muppet goodness. Give me Animal. In the current music industry. So yeah, that's what we want to watch this week. Let us know what you want to watch this week. What your top 3 kings are by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars. Anyone can leave 5 stars, or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, Thor's worth $1. head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/supports. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.
I'm gonna tell you the funniest tweet I just saw. This
Yeah, okay.
motherfucker tweeted this quote, retweeted a picture of where it's discussing films, like first look at Albert Einstein and Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, and someone quote retweeted it and said, "Gonna react to this like when Spider-Man showed up at Civil War." Good bit.